You were raised on a lie so clean it never sounded dangerous. You were told that women need love to feel desire, that if you show up emotionally, invest deeply, and build something stable, attraction will naturally follow. That desire is a reward for commitment. That intimacy grows out of bonding. It sounds noble, it sounds fair, and it's wrong. Desire doesn't wait for love to arrive. It often comes before it, outside of it, or in direct conflict with it. That's why women fall in love with men they don't desire, and desire men they would never choose. You've seen it happen. The man who is perfect on paper but leaves her cold. The man who excites her but never fits into her long-term plans. This isn't hypocrisy. It's biology colliding with morality. Love makes women stay. It does not make them want. Desire is not loyalty. It's a reaction. It doesn't care about effort, promises, or emotional history. It responds to stimulus, not intention. And this is where men get trapped. You confuse emotional bonding with sexual ignition and assume one will create the other over time. But if love were enough to generate desire, dead bedrooms wouldn't exist. Long relationships wouldn't go numb while nothing is technically wrong. Men wouldn't be blindsided by rejection from women who claim they still care deeply. The uncomfortable truth is this: love is what organizes a woman's life, not what activates her nervous system. Desire doesn't ask if something is good for her. It asks if something makes her feel alive. And once you understand that, the story you were taught about attraction starts to collapse in real time. Look at real life instead of the theory, and this truth becomes impossible to ignore. Start with the married woman who has never cheated. She loves her husband. She defends him. She would never risk the life they built together. And yet, late at night, her mind drifts, not to romance, not to emotional bonding, but to moments where she felt a charge she can't recreate anymore. She doesn't act on it, not because the desire isn't there, but because love governs her behavior while desire operates independently of it. This isn't rare, it's common. Men assume fidelity means absence of desire. In reality, it often means desire is being consciously restrained, not extinguished. Then there's the woman who feels intense attraction to a man she barely knows. No shared history, no emotional investment, no future plan, sometimes not even admiration, yet her body reacts instantly. Meanwhile, the man who has been present for years, who knows her fears, her family, her past, registers nothing. She says she feels safe with him. That's not a compliment in the way men think it is. Safety soothes. It does not stimulate. This contrast alone should shatter the myth that desire grows out of emotional familiarity. It often fades inside it. And then there's the third pattern men witness, but rarely connect the moment a woman feels fully secure. Desire drops, not after betrayal, not after neglect, right after certainty. The relationship becomes defined, labeled, predictable. She knows where she stands. Her nervous system relaxes. And with that relaxation, the spark dims. Men interpret this as loss of interest or low libido. It's neither. It's deactivation. The stimulus that once triggered response is gone. These women aren't broken. They're not confused. They're responding exactly as the human nervous system is designed to respond. Desire isn't a moral decision. It's a physiological reaction. It answers to contrast, uncertainty, and emotional charge, not reassurance, availability, or verbal commitment. That's the key insight most men never apply. If you want to understand attraction, stop listening only to what women say they value and start observing what their bodies respond to. Notice when energy rises, when attention sharpens, when engagement increases. That's desire speaking. The practical application is simple but uncomfortable. Evaluate your own interactions. Ask where you're providing certainty instead of charge, where you're offering reassurance instead of presence, where you're explaining instead of activating. Desire doesn't need love to exist. It needs stimulus. And once you see that in real life, the old story can never hold again. Romantic logic tells you that love should deepen desire over time, that the more secure a woman feels, the more open and responsive she becomes. Real life shows the opposite pattern. Love brings predictability. It brings emotional safety. It reduces uncertainty. It removes tension. And all of those things calm the nervous system. Calm is useful for trust, stability, and long-term bonding. But calm is not arousal. What soothes the nervous system suppresses the very state desire needs to exist. Love tells her body it can rest. Desire needs her body awake. You see this play out everywhere once you know what to look for. Early in a relationship, before anything is defined, her attention is sharp. She reads into small moments. She reacts quickly. Her emotions feel closer to the surface. Nothing has been secured yet, so her nervous system stays alert. Then love enters. Labels appear. Promises are made. Routines settle in. The relationship becomes emotionally safe. That safety is real, and it matters. But the same process that builds trust quietly removes the conditions that once activated desire. Her body no longer needs to scan, respond, or engage at a heightened level. It's not shutting down, it's powering down. This is why so many men experience the same confusing shift. The relationship improves on paper, while attraction fades in practice. Conversations become smoother. Conflict decreases. Life feels more organized. And yet, intimacy feels flatter. Men assume something must be wrong. Stress, hormones, age. But the timing tells a different story. Desire doesn't drop after chaos. It drops after certainty. After everything becomes known. After there's nothing left for her nervous system to anticipate or respond to. The application here isn't to reject love or create instability. It's to understand the cost of overoptimization. When your entire presence becomes predictable, you stop generating contrast. When every emotional response is explained, softened, and resolved, tension disappears. Desire feeds on unresolved edges, on moments that aren't fully settled yet. This is why men who remain internally directed, self-contained, and slightly unpredictable maintain attraction longer, even inside committed relationships. Not because they withhold love, but because they don't let love flatten them. If you want to test this in real life, observe when her energy rises. It won't be during reassurance speeches or emotional explanations. It will be during moments of grounded silence, decisive action, or when you're fully present without trying to manage the outcome. Those moments keep her nervous system engaged. Love can build a life. Desire requires something else entirely. And confusing the two is how attraction quietly suffocates while everything looks right from the outside. Inside most women, there's a split that almost never gets spoken out loud. Not because it's rare, but because it's uncomfortable. Love and desire do not live in the same psychological space. Love is tied to stability, identity, and morality. It's how she defines herself as a good partner, a loyal woman, someone who made the right choice. Desire is different. Desire is intensity. It's loss of control. It's risk. It doesn't ask permission from her values or check in with her long-term plans. And that's exactly why it creates conflict. In real life, you see this split constantly. A woman can deeply love a man who feels safe, dependable, and correct for her life, while feeling little to no physical pull toward him. At the same time, she can feel a surge of desire towards someone who threatens none of her plans, but activates her nervous system instantly. This doesn't make her dishonest. It makes her human. The problem is that only one side of this split is socially acceptable. Love is praised. Desire is tolerated only if it behaves. So when desire points somewhere inconvenient, she doesn't examine it. She suppresses it. That suppression creates shame. Desire doesn't align with her self-image as a loyal, grounded woman, so she treats it as something immature or dangerous rather than informative. Instead of asking why her body responds the way it does, she shuts it down and doubles down on love. This is why so many women say they don't know what they want, while their reactions say otherwise. It's not confusion. It's internal censorship. She doesn't want love to make her feel safe. She wants desire to make her feel alive. But admitting that would force her to confront parts of herself she's been taught to control. For men, the practical application is not to moralize this split, but to recognize it. When you position yourself only as the safe choice, the emotionally correct option, you align with her identity, but not with her desire. Desire responds to intensity and presence, not approval. Watch how her energy changes when she's explaining herself versus when she's reacting. Notice when she becomes more animated, more focused, more physically expressive. That's the side of her you're dealing with, whether she names it or not. Understanding this split doesn't mean rejecting love or chasing chaos. It means refusing to confuse morality with attraction. Love organizes her life. Desire disrupts it. And when you understand the difference, you stop trying to win desire by being chosen and start becoming someone her nervous system can't ignore. The frustration of good men doesn't come from mistreating women or failing to show up. It comes from doing everything they were told would work and watching attraction fade anyway. The pattern is almost always the same. A man invests emotionally. He becomes available, consistent, transparent. He shares more, explains more, adjusts more. Over time, he removes anything that could be misread as tension because he doesn't want to risk the relationship. And slowly, without realizing it, he becomes predictable, fully known, fully accessible. That's where polarity dies. This isn't because kindness repels women. That's the lazy explanation men reach for when they're hurt. The real issue is availability without edge. When a man's emotional world becomes entirely open and oriented around her, there's nothing left for her nervous system to orient toward. No resistance, no contrast, no sense that she's interacting with an independent force rather than a responsive mirror. Desire doesn't react to compliance. It reacts to presence, that has its own gravity. You see this play out in real relationships all the time. Early on, he has direction. He has momentum that isn't dependent on her approval. She responds. Over time, that direction bends toward her. Decisions start factoring her reaction first. His emotional state becomes easier to read, easier to predict, easier to manage. From his perspective, he's being considerate. From her nervous system's perspective, the stimulus is gone. There's nothing left to respond to because everything is already accounted for. This is why men feel blindsided. She still appreciates him. She still respects him. She may even say she loves him deeply, but the reactions fade. The spark dulls. Intimacy becomes less charged. And when he asks what changed, there's rarely a clear answer because the shift wasn't a single event. It was a gradual loss of polarity. She didn't stop wanting him. She stopped reacting to him. The practical application here isn't to pull away emotionally or become distant for the sake of it. It's to examine where you collapsed your own center, where your decisions, moods, and direction became fully responsive instead of self-generated. Notice when you started explaining yourself instead of embodying your choices. Desire responds to men who are emotionally present, but not emotionally dependent. Men who share, but don't spill. Who commit, but don't dissolve. When a man becomes fully available and fully known, attraction doesn't argue or complain. It simply goes quiet. The driver you've been missing has nothing to do with effort, intention, or emotional labor. It's biological. Desire is triggered by emotional charge, not by consistency or goodwill. Charge comes from uncertainty, from presence that hasn't been fully resolved, from interacting with a man whose inner world doesn't collapse into predictability. This isn't theory. You see it in everyday situations where attraction appears suddenly and without logic. A woman feels drawn to a man who hasn't promised her anything, hasn't explained himself, and hasn't made her the center of his emotional universe. His presence has edges. His direction doesn't bend in real time to her reactions. That uncertainty keeps her nervous system awake. This is where men misunderstand the mechanism and reach for the wrong tools. They hear uncertainty and think manipulation. They hear edges and think cruelty. They assume emotional charge must come from drama or withdrawal. It doesn't. Those are distortions of the real trigger. Emotional charge comes from aliveness, from a man who is present without being absorbed, who engages without needing to resolve every emotional ripple immediately, who has momentum that exists whether she approves of it or not. That's polarity, and polarity is what creates attraction. In real life, this shows up in subtle ways. Notice how women respond when a man is grounded and decisive versus when he seeks reassurance. Notice how energy shifts when he stays calm and contained instead of over-explaining his emotions. Her attention sharpens not because he's withholding, but because he's not leaking his internal state into the interaction. His presence requires her to respond rather than manage him. That response is desire activating. The practical application here isn't to play games, but to stop over-resolving yourself. Ask where you rush to explain instead of allowing space, where you seek validation instead of staying internally directed, where you turn your emotional life into something she can fully predict and therefore ignore. Desire is not a reward for effort. It's a response to stimulus. Stimulus requires contrast. It requires a man whose emotional center remains intact, even in connection. When you understand this, attraction stops feeling mysterious or unfair. You stop asking why being good wasn't enough and start seeing how aliveness operates. Desire doesn't care how much you give. It reacts to what you embody. And the moment you stop flattening yourself in the name of love, the biological trigger finally has something to respond to. Most men misalign not because they lack confidence, but because they overcorrect in the wrong direction. Once they sense attraction, they start explaining themselves. They narrate their emotions in real time, hoping transparency will create closeness. They seek reassurance subtly through questions, tone shifts, emotional checking. They remove tension wherever it appears, mistaking tension for danger instead of stimulus. And often, they become emotionally transparent too early, unloading their inner world before it has any weight. None of this feels manipulative or needy in the moment. It feels honest. It feels mature. But honesty without containment collapses polarity. When everything is visible, nothing is activating. You can see this play out in everyday interactions. A man explains why he feels a certain way instead of allowing his actions to speak. He adjusts his direction based on how she reacts rather than staying anchored in his own momentum. His availability becomes constant, predictable, frictionless. From his side, he's being present. From her nervous system's side, the interaction loses charge. There's nothing left to respond to because nothing is being held back. Not as a tactic, but as a natural boundary. Desire doesn't grow when everything is immediately resolved. It grows when there's space to feel into. The correction isn't about withholding or acting distant. It's about emotional containment. Containment means you feel deeply without spilling constantly. You choose direction over approval, making decisions because they align with you, not because they secure a reaction. Presence over availability means when you're there, you're grounded and engaged, but you're not always there by default. Your life continues to move forward with or without her input. That momentum is felt before it's understood. This is where the reframe matters. You don't create desire by giving more words, more reassurance, more access. You create it by needing less validation, less confirmation that you're wanted, less dependence on her emotional responses to regulate your own state. In real life, this shows up when you stop filling silence, stop explaining your intent, stop preemptively smoothing every edge. You let moments stand. You let tension exist without rushing to kill it. Men who maintain attraction aren't colder. They're more centered. Their emotional world has structure. Their presence has weight. And because they don't need to be reacted to, they become something worth reacting to. If you want to stop guessing and start seeing the pattern clearly, there's a simple test you can run in real life. No theory, no ideology, no pretending. Watch what actually activates her, not what she says she wants, not what she claims matters, what her body tension and energy respond to in the moment. Ask yourself first, does she respond more when you pull her into your frame or when you enter hers? Notice the difference between moments where you invite her into what you're already doing versus moments where you abandon your direction to align with hers. When you stay anchored in your own movement plans, pace, decisions, does her engagement sharpen? When you follow, accommodate, or wait? Does it soften? That contrast tells you more than any conversation ever could. Then observe what happens when tension appears. Done. Does desire increase when you explain yourself, justify your intent, and smooth over uncertainty? Or does it rise when you stay grounded and silent, allowing the moment to breathe? Men often panic at silence and rush to fill it with reassurance or clarity. But watch closely. Silence often pulls her forward. Explanation often puts her to sleep. This isn't about being mysterious for effect. It's about not over-resolving yourself before there's anything to respond to. Ask one more uncomfortable question. Does attraction rise when you reassure her, or when you remain slightly unresolved? Notice how her energy shifts when you immediately confirm interest versus when you let things unfold without locking them down. Many men mistake reassurance for connection, but reassurance frequently kills momentum. When everything is named, defined, and secured too early, there's nothing left for her nervous system to engage with. Slight unresolvedness keeps attention alive. You don't need to change your personality to run this test. Just stop interfering with the data. Don't explain away reactions. Don't correct the pattern to protect your ego. Watch how she responds to presence versus availability, direction versus accommodation, containment versus emotional spillage. The answer will show itself quickly and consistently. This is the rule that cuts through all confusion. Watch what activates her, not what she says she wants. Words protect identity. Reactions reveal desire. Once you start paying attention to the latter, the entire dynamic becomes impossible to unsee. This is where the conversation ends without giving you relief, because relief would mean reassurance, and reassurance is part of the illusion you've been living inside. Love maintains relationships. It organizes life. It builds continuity. Desire does something very different. Desire disrupts. It unsettles. It pulls attention away from what's stable and toward what's alive. Confusing the two costs men years because they spend that time trying to use love to do a job it was never designed to do. Look at real outcomes, not ideals. How many relationships survive on affection while intimacy quietly dies? How many men are loved, respected, relied upon, and still untouched? How many women stay loyal, present, and emotionally invested, while their desire migrates elsewhere in fantasy, memory, or silence? Love keeps the structure standing. Desire doesn't care about structures. It responds to contrast, to polarity, to something that interrupts equilibrium instead of preserving it. This is why the truth feels dangerous, because it removes the moral protection men hide behind. You can do everything right and still lose attraction. You can be chosen and still not be wanted. You can be loved deeply and still not activate desire. And none of that means anyone failed. It means the system was misunderstood. Love is about maintenance. Desire is about reaction. When you expect one to replace the other, you quietly hollow out both. The practical implication isn't to reject love or chase instability. It's to stop using love as a substitute for presence, to stop flattening yourself into safety and calling it connection, to recognize where you became predictable enough to disappear. This doesn't require drama or distance. It requires honesty about what actually creates attraction in real life, not what sounds virtuous. So sit with the final truth without trying to soften it. Female desire doesn't need love. It needs contrast. It needs polarity. It needs something unresolved enough to stay awake. And the moment you become safe enough to stop reacting to, desire moves on.